Budden Jackson Podcast.
What's good with y'all today, man, on Juneteenth? Like, I'm not going to have a long layout for this conversation because it's about Larry Jackson, Joe Budden, the industry's insight. Larry Jackson, if you don't know this guy, he's a big boy exec. He's a curator of hip hop and music culture in totality. He was an exec at Apple Music, or Apple in general, that helped push Apple Music through streaming. He has been in the presence of Biggie. He has done so much at his age. He's just 43 years old. And this conversation, if you're not a Patreon member of Joe Budden Podcast, then he may have uploaded it to YouTube by now. But it was some very interesting things said in this interview that I think people that wants to be in the music industry, already in the music industry, or if you're like me and independently in the music industry, then this was a good conversation to listen to. Now, on Joe Budden's Patreon edition, he interviews like prominent people. He had Mike Tyson on there. He had, I was about to say Candace Parker, but Candace Owens on there. He had some guy from the 9/11 on there. He had the guy that killed Osama bin Laden, the Navy SEAL individual. And they talk about a whole bunch of different things. And I remember when Candace Owens was on there, she mentioned Larry Jackson because he is invested in artists and certain hip hop artists that messaging she doesn't agree with. But I'm going to play the first clip and let's get on into it. Man.
So when you have just a casual listener, is it wrong of them to assume that whoever is behind these acts assumes the audience doesn't have the bandwidth for more than a sexy red?
I'm going to stop it. So Joe Budden saying people don't have the mental capacity to hear different variations of artists, like multiple artists. And a lot of people think that what's being highlighted, the Glorillaz, the Megan Thee Stallions, the negative music, that's all that people are capable of ingesting or digesting. So it's nothing else available. So let's listen to his response to that.
So when you have just a casual listener, is it wrong of them to assume that whoever is behind these acts assumes the audience doesn't have the bandwidth for more than a sexy red? Like, I think there should be room for all. Back to hip hop welcomes all. I think the concern comes when you only see one type of representation.
I mean, Willow's album is incredible, you know? Willow's album is incredible. You know, the Color Purple soundtrack, I was so proud of that. You know, never in our lives could you imagine if I told you in 1999 that you could walk into Virgin Megastore in Times Square and you could own the entire store for $9.99.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, you can have every CD here on the wall. Everything is yours. How much is it gonna cost me? $9.99. Bro, one CD cost $11.99 at that time. I could have the whole store for $9.99.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody make you listen to anything, dog. You have everything that you want on your phone. There's 100,000 songs uploaded every single day to DSPs. It's insane. Never has there been a greater access to a diverse group of songs, artists, albums ever before in our life with such ease and for access and simplicity.
The Budden Jackson Podcast.
You know, when I heard that statement and I made that clip, I was thinking about how bad the people are programmed, how bad I'm programmed to just like give my attention to what's being promoted instead of going and seeking new things, new creative artists. We living in a time, like Larry Jackson said, where it's the most diverse time ever. Us having 1 million different artists, 100,000 songs are released every day. It could be good, it could be bad, but why are we so programmed to only be attracted to what's being promoted? That's a choice. We choose that. We don't have to do that. Now, I had one of my partners, before I get to the next clip, I'm going to just tell a little story. I had one of my partners tell me that I can't listen to this new R&B. R&B dead. R&B is dead. So I turned him on to Leon Bridges. I turned him on to C.S. Armstrong. He knows about the Scissors, the Summer Walkers, and all of those artists. I told him this might be the best time for R&B ever. So I turned him on to the Apple Music playlist R&B Now. And he listened to it and he said, damn, I didn't know it was that much good music out. So he's like 45, 46 years old, around my age. So I was like, dang, people are programmed and they're just listening to what they know or what's convenient to them. Or when something hot drop and everybody else is listening to it, then they gonna go listening to it because they don't even have a free mind to choose something different. Let's get into the next clip and let me shut up.
You have arguably or inarguably the most popular podcast right now in music. You know, I won't even say for the culture. I would say in music, you know, cross music, multi-formats, multi-genres. In the 90s, would that be possible? You'd have to be on MTV. You'd have to be Tigger. You'd have to be Ed Lover or Dr. Dre. You know, you'd have to be anointed by a gatekeeper.
True.
By Van Toffler at that time, or Judy McGrath, or Rick Krem, you know, or John Sykes. They would have to bless you with their baton and say, you are now anointed, sir, you know, like they did with, you know, Carson Daly or Caduce or, you know, those people, or Sway, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And now, I don't even know where this interview is being distributed at. Where is this being distributed at?
Anywhere you can get an interview. YouTube for the most part. Patreon. Patreon is where my business model is. But
you get what I'm saying though?
You know,
you get what I'm saying? So it's like it's a different time, and it's a beautiful time because of that. And well timed in the age of Aquarius, and the time when the truth is, you know, ready to be communicated and received on many levels.
Do independent artists, though, today know just how much power they have within the phone?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so. And it's part of the reason why I want to do this interview today. Because I'm like, this is such a transformative time. I'm not even sure if everyone realizes how transformative it is. I was looking for an even, you know, grander word to explain it, but no, I don't think so. I don't think so.
You know, I was watching like sci-fi movies today when I just thought about this when he said it's such a transformative time, because it really is. Like, information is at the tip of our fingers and times is changing quick, drastically fast. And I don't think people know the power of the devices that we have, because the youth do. But the people, see, me, Joe, Larry, we around the same, all of us are the same age. They 43, I'm 44 years old. Not saying the age has nothing to do with it, but the youth know the power of these devices because they live with them their whole life and their whole time here on Earth. And it's just different. Like, if you're paying, like I got a MacBook, $2,500, an iPhone, this thing $1,200-$1,500, man. If you're not attempting are trying to make money off your device, why do you even have it? Real talk. If you're not seeking information, like he said, like Cat Williams said at the beginning of the year, I just heard Larry Jackson just say this. We're living in the age of Aquarius, the age of information. Nothing is hidden. Nothing is hidden. Everything is accessible. If you ain't trying to get some money, or you ain't on one of these platforms trying to monetize and create instead of consume, then you in the wrong game, dog. You want to work your whole life? Nah. You're in the wrong game. You got to take advantage, not let it take advantage of you and you be a consumer. Let's go.
Similarly, Universal and TikTok went through something where they pulled all the music, right? And I think recently they have come to an agreement. Have you been watching that?
Yeah, that's the beef I'm really interested in.
Well, why that one?
TikTok, in my opinion, is 10 times more valuable than MTV. You know, and I'll leave it at that. So
you would be sad to see it go?
Oh, tremendously, yeah. I think that their impact on music, it's not even a debate. It's not even a question. Not even a question.
Yeah.
I mean, how it's impacted our company with Sexy Red, with Four Bats, with Honest Abe, who we just signed, with Usher. I mean, it's MTV times 10. To us, the reward far outweighs the risk.
When I think of TikTok, like I haven't fully embraced it yet, but I do upload content on TikTok to promote the channel, the YouTube channel, and my website and my platform. But TikTok has changed the whole structure of music. It's like people are going platinum and having #1 records off of 45-second songs because the kids are gravitating to it. The kids are creating dances to it, and the record labels and the artists are benefiting from it. Something else he said that I didn't touch bases on, like on that last clip that I played, because I meant to touch bases on this before I move forward. It's such a transformational time with he was talking about gatekeepers, right? It's people that don't have a Lucian Grange, that don't have a Larry Jackson, that doesn't have Epic and Interscope behind them, that just pops up out of nowhere because the people like them. And when the people like you and they like what you created and it's authentic and it's organic and it blows up, it's people creating things on their own with their phone in their home that's making millions. That's actually hurting the record labels because they might be investing in one artist today and then such and such just come with a hit record and knock all of that off track and off the wavelength and mess up the frequency of what they trying to do. And it's hurting the investment. These record companies, he's the CEO of Gamma. Gamma has Usher, Snoop Dogg, Rick Ross. Who else? Let me think. It's a few more artists. Sexy Red, he just mentioned. It's a few more though, but he has a lot of artists. And he said something in here that caught my attention too. I don't know if I got a clip for this though, but the record labels are not record labels no more. They're tech companies. Now, this last clip that I'm about to play is kind of long, and he's talking about Drake on it. But this is the last clip of breaking it down, and I'm going to give y'all my final take on the conversation about the Larry Jackson, Joe Budden industry insight.
Much as I love and respect you, I certainly threw out some wild theories regarding Gamma as it pertains to Drake and why people may be so angry at him. Totally unfounded and without basis and merit. But it was a fun pod. It was a fun pod to try to discover some of these things without jamming you up, because I don't really want, now that I'm with you, I don't want to include you in my mess. But do you think that Drake's deals are a point of contention for his peers?
I can't answer that question. It's not appropriate or my place. I have to definitely display good cultural etiquette. So, do you like your water? Would you like any ice with that?
No, this is excellent. This is some of the best water I've had.
It's good, no?
No, it's good.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll at least say my wild theory. My wild theory was that Drake had to have some type of hand in Gamma, which is why he's promoting Ross albums and Sexy Red. And he must have some type of deal that's not even available to other people, to whereas he gets to be the owner and player, or player and whatever that other title is, like Herb Williams used to be for the Knicks, player coach. Like, he's just twofold right now, and it seems to be causing a lot of trouble.
You want the truth?
Sure.
My partner, Gamma's president, Ike Youssef, and I went and knocked. I was so passionate about this idea for so long that I saw, there was private equity was investing so much money into catalogs because capital was cheap in 2019, 2020. Interest rates were very low, so borrowing capital was very easy.
Okay.
And the thing that's happened with streaming is that it's provided predictable insight into recurring revenue. So, like I was saying earlier, it's very easy to predict what something can do, what it can generate, because there's now all of this historical data now going back to the early 2010s around what things have streamed, and it's very easy to figure out and calculate and quantify. But no one really believed in what we wanted to do, what I wanted to do, which was investing in the frontline business. There's a myth out there that catalog is bigger than it's ever become, and I think it's actually an intentionally skewed perspective that's been seeded, because anything that's considered catalog is music that is older than 18 months. So the thing that I'll say to you about the artist you just mentioned is that if you look at his music, he's bigger than the 70s, 80s, and 90s combined. I don't mean like one artist from that era. I mean all of those eras combined. 70s and I'll even say the 60s, 70s, and 80s, rather. Not the 90s. 60s, 70s, and 80s. At any given point. Because the catalog that is the richest catalog right now, and I'm probably saying something that hasn't been stated necessarily, the biggest catalog right now is not the stuff from any of those decades. The biggest catalog is stuff from the 90s onward.
I had to hit y'all with the flex bombs. Or Clue, who created the bomb first? Help me out. So, this man just said that Drake's catalog is more valuable than the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s put together. I would want to, I wish Joe Budden would have said it or did it. I wonder, analytically, how does he know that? Because I know he does numbers, and I know that streaming is reoccurring income. So what I mean by that is that when we was purchasing physical music, records, CDs, tapes, we was purchasing it once and it was over. Now that we're streaming, it's reoccurring. It's over and over and over and over again. Now at the top of that, he said that Joe said that the reason he's on Sexy Red's records is because it's in his best interest, because he's invested in it. The reason he beefing with Ross and promoting Ross is because he's invested in Gamma. Gamma is signed under contract. Ross is signed under contract to Gamma. So Drake is a vested owner in that company. So he has parts of his ops catalog. Because Gamma is running shit right now. They're the tech company. The tech record label, probably the first one. Now that man is the man that contributed to creating the Apple Music app. So he know what the hell he talking about. If Drake is part owner in all of these individuals' catalog, I can see why they want him out of here. I can see why everybody's beefing with him now. It's clear as day. Hey, man, go check that Patreon out. Go check out that show. Go do your research on the music game, man, and on just information. Just continue being informed, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new here. I'm going to play one of my records on the way out because I make music too. I think I'm good at it. I think I make some fly records. And I'm gone. I appreciate y'all, man. Peace, love, plenty of abundance. Make sure you go get you some money. Chill.
I ball like Kobe 2-4. Niggas didn't want me to blow. It was all a dream for sure. Now I'm up and not looking back. Did the racks, now it's deposits. Life is good when you have options. Niggas cap, never been popping. The diamonds ain't real, player, just stop it. All we do is the VV. Shine so bright the lanes can't see me. Been notorious, no biggie, did the Louis. Now I'm at Poochie, yo chick a groupie. Act unruly, niggas goofy, always moody. I'm a dog, call me Scooby. To this game, you niggas newbies. At Benny's, I just want sushi. Left the streets when shit got spooky. Kept it real, that was my duty. My team keep Drake's, I told the Uzi. Director of my own movie. Make sure the business runs smoothly. Yours truly been evolved. Beef I had won't be resolved.
The Trevor Jackson Podcast.